Hello. Wow. I mean, it just went off. Oh, sorry about that. I will um okay, so sorry about that. Um Go live and okay. Allow me and sorry about that. It just went off.
I was wondering, like I thought Ijeoma wanted to increase the volume of our phone, and I was like, okay, what happened there in a moment?
Hi, I was so sorry about that. So Ijeoma, yes, please go ahead. Uh
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
So,
yeah. So Ijeoma, please go ahead and
okay.
introduce
Hi.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are.
hmm
My name is Ijeoma Awagwu, and I am the director of HR at a retail company here in Toronto.
Is it just
A little bit about
me? But Ijeoma's volume is still low.
it's very low. Okay.
Yes, just increase the mouthpiece a little.
Is it
Okay.
better? Is it somewhat better? Is it better?
Uh, yeah, maybe better, but just go ahead.
Yeah. Let me go ahead. I'm going to rejoin. Let me
Okay.
see if I can change my
Okay. All right, guys. Sorry about this. So maybe let's we may go ahead and introduce yourself, and of course, I'm sure we should go
Okay,
before.
all right. I was trying to hide myself. When Ijeoma is done, then I'll come on. But
No, sorry, no hiding for you, and it's just you and I in here, but I'm sure Tuba is going to be joining now. I just added
right.
him. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from.
hmm
I'm glad to be here. My name is Olawunmi. I work in the HR space as the HR business partner with China Incorporated, which is health industry. I'm glad to be here. I'm so excited and super pumped up to, share perspective and my thoughts, my insight about today's topic. And thank you, Imole, for having me. Thank you to Luminous, and thank you for having me on this to speak about this amazing topic. And to everyone that is joined in, thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you. So it's so awesome to have you. Otsuba, your camera is switched on the other side. Can you please
Yeah,
stabilize it
that's what
and convert
I'm.
it so that we can see your face, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, I got it now.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. You're very welcome, sir. I hope it's gonna be a long conversation, so I hope it's placed somewhere you'll be comfortable to have your conversation.
Absolutely.
October is the unorthodox HR leader. So guys, be ready for a different dimension of expression. Anyway, thank you so much, Rumi, for introducing yourself. It's so good to have you here. You are a professional par excellence, and it's good to hear your perspective about this subject. Before Jake joins, let's move to October. I call him October. We all do call him October. There's a lot of story behind this wonderful man, but he's an astute veteran, if you allow me to use that word. So, October, please, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Just tell us yourself a bit about yourself
Uh,
and your story.
Good day, everybody. My name is Adekunle Oluniloyo.
Mm,
I'm an HR. I would say I'm an HR consultant.
yes.
I'm not so particular about title,
Mm,
but I have a little experience in HR, which crosses across 30 years.
okay. Did you
I was like, did I hear that right?
did you hear
Okay,
that little? Across 30 years, across different
30 years.
continents and different countries and cities is Adekunle, as we call him, Otuba, happens to be one of the people I consulted about 7 years ago when we first came here. One of the elders on the line, and it's so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for
Thanks so much.
being here. And today we're looking at looking at HR and we're looking at the most challenging aspect of HR. And I know for a fact that HR has grown. HR, as it used to be like 30 years ago when Otuba started, I'm sure it's so different from now. We used to have the traditional HR, and the HR that pushes the file and pushes all of those things. But there's been a lot of growth and change and transition over the years. And every growth comes with a demand. Every expansion comes with a new dimension of responsibility. So, so let's start. I'll start by posing this question to Wumi. And Wumi, tell me, as HR professionals, for you as an individual, let's start from the ethical dilemmas that we are being faced sometimes, right? Because I've learned from experience that HR is not always black and white. There are gray areas because you're dealing with human beings, you're dealing with real people, and you're dealing sometimes situations that goes beyond you. So Wumi, tell us from your perspective, when you're faced with an ethical dilemma in your role, where do you find support? How do you navigate the situation as an HR professional?
Oh, okay. Well, I think I want to start from defining, like, let's be clear that it is ethical. Like, sometimes we say things are ethical, like, and when we look into it, start unpacking things, we find out that most times it could be our emotions. So if we have defined that this is ethical, then how do I get support? Is number one, I usually just seek internal support first. So I look into my team and check, okay, who can I get support from? From my HR, maybe my HR manager, or someone on my team that we could talk about it. Like, let's share perspective, let's share idea. What do you think? Am I in this mix? Because of, just seek support internally. I think that's where I'll start from. Then, of course, I want to seek support externally if I am not, getting that support internally. So I go external, and external mean like professional networks. Like, we have huge HR professional networks here in Canada that can help us navigate ethical dilemma. Like, you know, I can seek support from the professional network and consult people who maybe have experienced what I'm going through, and they can share their perspective with me. So I can leverage on that. So I'll leverage on professional network. And of course, if that is not working still, then I'll seek legal counsel.
Oh,
Legal counsel would help me have a wider scope of how I can navigate this ethical dilemma. I think that is what I would do in putting things in perspective. I'll look internally first, check who can help me within my organization, within my team, within my HR team, my HR manager, other team members. If that is not working, I go external and I'll sort the professional network first.
yeah.
Check people out. And sometimes people might have gone through what I'm going through, and I'll just seek their own perspective. Then, if it's not working, I go further and seek legal counsel.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. You seek help. I mean, so glad to know that there's that support system and structure for you. But now I'm going to move this to IJ. IJ, you're very welcome. I was just speaker now. How is the mic now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yes.
Is it better?
Right.
Yes, it's
Okay,
better.
perfect. Perfect. Okay.
A little
Sorry about
laggy, but it's better. So maybe just quickly introduce yourself, then I'll flip the question to you. Why do we go through ethical dilemmas as HR professional?
Oh,
That's
excellent. Okay. Hi again, everyone. Sorry about the technical difficulties. My name is Ijeoma Awagwu, and I've been in the HR space for almost 17 years. Don't calculate my age. But I really, really enjoy HR. I started out as a consultant. Not sure why there's a lag.
yeah.
Um,
But we can hear you.
and I've been doing this ever since then. Currently, I work as a director of HR with a retail organization in Toronto, in Ontario.
Yeah.
And yeah, to the question of why do we encounter, or when we encounter, how do we address it? Basically, I think I'll agree with Wumi. So, as HR professionals, I think ethical dilemmas are the meat of our jobs. Those are that we face on a daily basis, and that's why we're really hired to support the organization. So understanding legal matters, regulations, and navigating the challenges of executing that in an organizational environment. So when we do encounter those things, which we do on a daily basis, obviously the first recourse is to, professional colleagues in HR as well, whether internal to the team as well as external. So I heard Wumi say internal, her colleagues, bosses, mentors, those kind of things, as well as professional networks. Again, I agree with everything Wumi said. There are several professional HR networks for Nigerians in Canada, for HR professionals in general in Canada, as well as the US, depending on what jurisdiction your organization is operating in. And then also, finally, then legal counsel. So your legal team is your best friend. Your finance team as well often understands the nuances of ethical dilemmas that we may face on a day-to-day basis. So I think those are some of the ones I would refer to. I think one of the last things that I would say is there's also resources. So beyond people, there's also frameworks, documentation, laws, and things that you can refer to that you can share within the organization to support any decision that you're recommending. Yeah.
Okay, so Otubak, thank you very much, IJ, and I'm glad for your back here. Otubak, as HR professionals, are we expected to be objective at all times? Can that be a reality in our world?
Because we are human, okay, it will be difficult. But what is expected will be for us to be above the bar. What is expected will be for us to do more than what other people will do in other departments. So it's not easy, but as we grow in the profession, we'll be getting what I call the tough skin, and we will be able to be as objective as possible. So for me, a range of 90 to 95% objectiveness will be fair enough, but we can never be 100%. Let's be realistic.
Okay. All right, Wumi, I saw you smiling. I want to chime into this, maybe with an example, a story, or you find yourself in that dilemma, like, can I be fully objective? My emotions are saying this, the law is saying this, the context is saying this. How do I navigate these nuances?
Oh, wow. So that got me thinking in a bit, really, because when it comes to HR and some of the things that we face, like Otola said, sometimes, like, of course, we're humans, but we still need to follow what our processes are, what is our policy saying, what the laws are saying. And looking back at how far I have been, like what exactly I have done in maybe in that situation. If I want to say a story, there was a time where I was in between, like, so I joined this company and I was going through so I was going through the documentation because it was like I came up with the HR structure. Okay. So they didn't have anything, and I was going through everything in setting up, like, from the scratch, HR department. While I was doing that, I noticed that the guy that was in the account department, there was a time that he had paid himself some money. And of course, when I was going through that, I saw that document, and because I wasn't in the organization prior to then, I was getting facts, looking at basis and all of that.
Objectively.
Well, the guy made excuses that he paid the money back, and I could actually see it. The money went out. He took the money for like some weeks, and he paid the money back into the account. So I saw the in and outs that, of course, he did. But at the same time, I felt like I have to, make a decision here. Although he did pay the money back, but I have to, follow ethical practices, right? And I mean, you all know
this
how
is
you did.
Yeah. So what did you do? I'm sure somebody's wondering. So what did he do? He paid the money back. And this is me playing the devil's advocate.
Yes.
Before you came, he took money, he's been running operations,
right.
and he used the money to just buy some things or whatever he did. And he paid it back. What do you do in that kind of situation, especially if he's a fantastic employee?
Absolutely.
What did you do?
Yeah. Imole, you're very 1000% correct. Like, this guy was very, 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 like, he was one of the best fits, quote and unquote. Then he knows what he was doing. Like, he was on top of his game. Yeah. But at the same time, I felt like that was a very unprofessional and ethical issue. Yeah. So I went through investigation, you know, got my facts, you know, and of course, he had evidence that he paid the money back. But I mean, the fact that you were able to take the money from the organization without the CEO's consent and without the approval, I question you. I mean, it's a big red flag for me. So at the end of the day, we had to terminate this young man. So yes, we did. But, you know, in between, like, okay, like some people say, okay, like you said, Imole, he paid the money. Why can't you just let it go? He did that. He paid the money. Then, well, maybe right there. But for someone who is holding in that office where, you know, it is really a big part of the organization where money and decision making is, like, you know, financial aspects. Yeah. It requires some top-notch ethical standards. So that was like a red flag for me there.
Thank you. I'm sure this is why some people don't like HR professionals. And somebody who just listen to it and say, this woman, see, they, you know. But let's go to October. Can you share in your journey as an HR professional, what is one of the toughest decisions you had to make, you know, in your journey that is strictly because it's HR? If it was you, you probably would not have made that decision.
I think a good one that came to mind was when a manager came to me and dropped a resume and said, I've interviewed this candidate 2 years ago. I didn't have the head count, but now I have the head count. Can we proceed to hire her?
Okay.
That was 2 years ago when I've not even joined the organization, just like Wumi said, in our own situation. So I said to the manager, you've interviewed 2 years ago without the approval, and now that you have the approval, and we have an HR department in place, why can't we post this role and benchmark the candidate you are bringing with what we can get to the market currently? Just like most managers would do, I need to hire for this role like yesterday. I want this role closed as soon as possible. Well, I was able, with my persuasive and my personality, I persuaded the manager to say, let's take a step backward. Just give me 3 days. 3 days, I will give you at least 3 good resumes, between 3 to 5. And you can now pick who those you want to interview and benchmark those with the candidates you've brought to me. Reluctantly, he agreed.
Yeah.
And before you know it, at the end of the process, he came back to say, thank you for me, for being technical, and for being persuasive to let him see other candidates. That those candidates that brought forward to him were way better than the candidates he has in mind. And at the time I was leaving the organization, like 10 years, the candidate we hired has been promoted to the topmost legal unit and position for that organization. So where am I going to? For me, as a director, I could have just said, yes, boss, who's your candidate? You can resume so time. But because of the ethical concept of it, because of being objective and getting the best candidates for the department, I insisted we do it other way. And we were able to get a good candidate that was better off than the candidate he has in mind. And he sent a mail to my boss to thank me for being thorough on the job. So, which I think, ideally for me, I could have just waived it and not do anything. But I was able to let him know that process needs to be done. And for 2-year candidates, we need to benchmark what is bringing to what we have currently.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think as HR professionals, we really have to come to that point where we understand knowing our job is one thing. Being able to manage people, especially manage those managers and those directors, they just show up and say, hey, this is how I want it. This is what I want. And some of them have tenable reasons. They have excuses because their business has to run. But we know if we allow this to happen, it will probably encounter some issues in the future. IJ, talk to us. Let's talk about organizational culture. As HR professionals, how do we ensure a healthy organizational culture? What mechanisms, can we put in place to ensure that everybody is happy? Can everybody be happy? Maybe. Can everybody be happy in the organization? Maybe not.
When you said to ensure that everyone is happy, I was smiling inside, and then you laughed. I agree with you completely. I think we all recognize that everybody can't be happy, but what I want to add to that is everyone can be happy at the same time. So people can be happy.
So happiness can be badged in an organization. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, happiness can be badged. I think to ensure organizational culture, one of the things that we want to do is be very clear about the culture that we want to establish, right? And ensuring that we put in place actions, initiatives, strategies that speak to that culture. So whether it's performance, whether it's hiring, whatever we find is important to us, we have to reinforce those things continually and come from the top down, right? So our leadership should be speaking the same language, all of those things. But more importantly, I think as we continue to operate within the like the year, the organization, we need to be measuring and monitoring whether that culture is actually being displayed within the organization. So through our engagement surveys, through touch points, focus groups, we ask people, how do you feel? What's happening? How do you feel about this thing that we just rolled out? This initiative, this program, all of those things. And working on the feedback to continually improve that culture. I think that's one of the ways that we can ensure that people are happy.
Yeah.
When they can be happy. Not all the time, but when they can be happy.
Okay, that's good. But who wants to jump on this? What happens when you have all of those policies or those those great things you just talked about in the books, in the document, but there's no congruence between what the leaders are preaching, what they are saying, and what they are doing, right? How do you manage this disconnect? The boss, we understand we have this process, we have that in place, but you have the leader just show up and say, no, let's not do it that way. I feel we should do it this way. And this is going to be counterproductive. How do we navigate this instance? Who wants to jump on that?
Just to start with, for me, like I normally say, we have to ensure we document our thoughts, we document our views. The documentation is very key. If my manager is overruling my advice, okay, what I've done would be to just go back to my mail and say, further to our discussion.
That's okay.
And I will give a view, a preview of what we discussed, because when the shot comes to shove, and probably that my manager's decision backfired. Not that I'm throwing my boss on the boss. It will be on record that this is what Otumba said. Okay? And being the boss, it has that 360-degree coverage, okay, which I'll give to my boss to let it run. But what we've explained now, basically, we see it more in a one-man business, okay, and in organizations that are very, very small. Most organizations are not NGO. They are bound to make profits. So once the benchmark, what is the ROI, what is return on investment for me, that goes a long way for them to have that objective to test run what the water or what the feelings are before they implement. So basically, if my boss wants to overrule my suggestion or decision, I will let it be, but I will document just for the record purpose, and I will so heartedly go with my boss's view. And if we reach that crossroad and we need to go back to the drawing board, be rest assured, being a team player, I will follow suit and we'll be able to just see the best way forward for that particular situation.
I see the game
I think
onto
I want to
myself.
add something to
Yes,
that.
please go ahead.
So I have worked with a startup, and I know what it means like for startup where they don't have any structure. You know, when it comes to where organization where things are in place, they have processes and all of that. It's just like autopilots. Like it just flows. Like, you know, things will just keep going. But when you now want to start up, initiate the processes, then you start looking for like, okay, who's good? Like buying, like how do I get this, you know, past the paper and documentation? And what has worked for me is data. And here's what I mean. Like when I have like my data and my facts, like, okay, this is what we're rolling out. And I have done surveys. I have seen, okay, this is the responses of how we are doing where we are right now. So if someone wants to, you know, counterproductive of what I was or what I initiated, I go back with the data and push back. Nobody's going to say no to data because they would have seen the facts. And but what I mean the facts, where we were last month, 2 weeks ago, 3 months ago, what was our responses and feedback? When you give that facts, I mean, you can push back with data, and that has really helped me in, you know, redirecting or culture.
Fantastic.
But further to that, you give a good example of a new setup. What happens? I'm bringing my money. You tell me the data, but I still just like HR manager. It's my money. It's my call. Can we take a break?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
So how do you navigate that really? That's some of the dilemmas of HR professionals.
Well,
you know that.
I mean, to be very honest, it's your money, honestly, and you're paying me to do my job.
Okay.
So if you're paying me to do my job, you rather let me do my job. But if you want to say this is your money, then like you said, I go back to what you said, Otumba, I'll have my documentation that speaks to, we had this conversation, and what you said at that time was, is your money. So if things are not going the way it should, then when we have those discussions, I still come back with my data and facts that we did at this conversation. There's little we can do as, I mean, I get it. People feel like we are HR, we should be able to fix everything, but there's little we can, like, how much can we do? There's like, we can only recommend, advise, make, you know, we cannot say
you must do this.
yes.
I want to add something there. So that happens quite a bit. And I agree with, you know, having your documentation. I've also had to do, you know, further to our discussion. Here are my suggestions and recommendations. However, you know, but I think in situations where, you know, you have a more demanding, maybe forceful, maybe more, you know, I want my way, I think this is the best way. One of the things that I've seen that has worked, particularly in my case, back in my past life, is taking a sample of the population to say, okay, let me test this out. I understand you don't want to roll this out, you want to do it in this particular way. I'm going to test this out in this particular format in a small section that there's little to no risk of breaking anything or losing revenue. There's nothing for them to lose. Try it in a win-win situation. So take a small department and say, let's roll it out in this department and measure the results.
Yeah.
And I've seen that have great success. I've seen that work, you know, over time, where the leader has a different idea. I'll do your different idea. I'll document that, but I'll also try out it, and then I'll come to you with actual results. And again, back to what we said, data doesn't lie. Once you have the results, it's very difficult for people to argue.
Yeah, fantastic. I love this line of conversation because really, and I think it always starts with whatever strategy we're deploying or following as HR, it must be tied to the organizational strategy. So the organization is going this direction. We want to achieve this thing. We draw our own strategy from there. So whatever program we're rolling out, whatever initiative is tied to that. You say you want to roll out, you want to sell 20 million units of this. Our compensation policy, for instance, or employee engagement strategy is tied to that. And so we are taking the data to say, people who have achieved that, that's benchmarking. This is what they've done. If you go against this has a direct impact. you know, on the achievement of the overall strategy, organizational strategy. I think it comes to say, talk about data. We don't go to the business owners or businesses by emotions. We have to be able to tell story using data, because that is what they cannot disprove. But there's still a psychological and emotional part in managing some of those nuances, you know, in all that we do. I once had to, talking about, before we go into burnout and managing we ourselves as HR professionals, I've once had to serve a termination letter to someone who had become a friend within an organization. Has that happened to anybody before? You know, you have to be friendly, yeah, human being. But you've worked with this person for almost 2 years and you are buddies. And then I've been warning this guy. This is what the boss is saying. This is sincerely, the guy did not believe me. He says,
You're not supposed to warn anybody, so I don't know how you do that.
So you see, you're not supposed to warn, but sincerely, I was giving this guy hints. Have you done this? Have you taken this? Until I served it, the guy did not believe it. He thought it was a joke. He really thought it was a joke. And this was the food manufacturing company I worked in back in Nigeria. Have you ever been in a situation where you have to make a very hard decision with somebody you have built a relationship with? And if yes, how do we draw the line? You know, we want to be friendly. We want to be nice. We don't want to be that HR, you know, we want to be human. And yet we still have to uphold policies and processes. Who wants to take that aspect? Wumi, I see you.
Right. Because I really like, if you've been in HR for more than a decade, you at some point have experienced this. So that's like of course, I've been in that situation where I terminated someone that would happen to be like my, I'll say buddy, and you know, when it comes to being professional, there's a hat you wear when you get to that point to put on your professional hat. Then when we get out of work, we draw the boundaries. And how do we draw the boundaries is that you want to ensure that, you know, things that are confidential. Like you do not go like, oh, you know what happened today? You know, no side gist, no side talks. You leave sealed and, you know, handle things professionally.
Sorry, Mumi, sorry. So that means HR is not your friend, really.
HR is not your friend.
I know. I saw Wumi's
HR is your friend.
Before. I saw Wumi's comment on something.
Yes, I have a post on LinkedIn.
Wumi, HR is not your friend. Is that what you're telling me?
HR is your outlet. HR is not your friend.
HR is your outlet.
Yes. So if you have a concern, you can come and talk to me. We can talk about it. I can tell you, okay, document. I can tell you, where's your manual, your SOP. I can tell you, have you sought to, you know, have you used your conflict resolution methodologies? But HR is not your friend, because when push comes to shove, if something needs to go down,
my friends are on this call, Ijeoma, and I don't want them to come after me after this time. Hey, so you've been doing Oduaye with me, Abby.
So Ijeoma's position is
we need to draw the line, and like I said, to be 100% objective might be very tough. How would disagree and say HR is your friend, okay? But you just need to be able to manage. If you are just strictly policy oriented and you have this fence, this bubble for HR, it will be difficult. There are some side talk you will get in the organization that might not be written down, but when it comes to HR and HR try to go that route, it could be beneficial to the organization. Okay? So that is why you draw people in to let them know why your friend. HR is living a dilemma. Why? Your colleagues see you as being on management side. If you bring in suggestions to management, they will see you as being on your colleague's side.
Yeah.
So you have to be, just like we're talking about football. We have the referee and the linesman, right?
Okay.
But now we have the...
Who is HR? Who is HR?
Remember what I said? We have the VAR, the video assistant referee. Okay?
Okay.
So now there are some people elsewhere. If the referee is making that error, they can direct him, oh, Mr. Referee, go check the video again. And we've seen many referees correcting their mistakes.
Okay.
Right? So if HR is not your friend and people just cascade you or do away with HR, it might be difficult for HR to even sell those deliverables, to even sell those ideas that will be general on the staff. Okay? So we just need to be able to say, yeah, you're coming to me to say dates. I'm going to escalate it and give example that Wumi told me A, B, C, D. Okay? You like it or not, that's how it's going to be like. But we just need to make sure that we are not overflogging it, we are not getting too emotional about it, and we are not getting too close for comfort, where other people will see you as having a favorite among department or among staff.
Yeah, I like that angle you draw into it. And in case you're just joining us, please feel free to ask your questions, make your contribution. I'll share your thoughts. But we're not leaving this particular subject here, though. I'm still going back to Wumi. Wumi, so Otuba has taken a position that HR is not your friend. IG is very clear about it.
No, HR is your friend, I said. HR is your friend.
You said HR is your friend. Oh,
yes,
I'm
the only one on this side. And I think to clarify, I think maybe it's our definition of friendship.
Don't clarify.
No, I don't think HR is your friend. I'm not changing.
Okay, good.
I don't think HR is your friend.
Your position.
I think is the understanding of friendship and that balance. So I agree with Otumba and Wumi. That balance is critical. Having the boundary, being clear, and having that balance. But I think in friendship, for me, I go above and beyond for my friend. When I'm in my HR space, I'm your partner. I give you, recommendations. I find out what the legal ramifications are for you. I give you advice. But I wouldn't call myself your friend in that situation, because I need to, at the point that I'm HR, the decisions that I'm making are in the best interest of the business first, and then all the employees. I don't prioritize anyone over the other. So for me, it's that balance of, I am your partner, I am a confidant, and I am an outlet, but I wouldn't call it friendship. I know there was a time way back when that we were trying to rebrand HR and say HR is your friend, because there was that whole separation and people looked at HR as on management side, and so we wanted to bring it back.
That's what you just said now. That's what you just said. You said we're on management first, then the people.
Yes.
So that's what you just said. So that means HR is really pro-management, and then
that's your job. You're protecting the risk. Your job as the HR person is risk management for your business.
Okay.
That is your job. You have to do that, because even when we do employee relations, right?
Yeah.
We execute the intent and the letter of the law so that the business doesn't get into trouble. Right? You're not doing it because you like that employee. You're not doing it because they're your friend. You're not doing it because you just want to dash them money. You're doing it because you're protecting the business risk. That is what your job is.
So all those employee engagement initiative, all those
business
all those things is to protect. It's not really that you really like us as employees.
I didn't say that, but it is great business practice, because it puts the organization in a great position to attract great talent, to retain that talent, to train that talent to be able to deliver and be productive for the business, to be financially profitable. So win-win for everybody. But at the end of the day, we are for the business.
HR is your friend. I like it that way.
I know Wumi is very biased towards this. You believe HR is your friend, and I saw the very good long write-up she wrote. And in fact, the people in our organization, they liked it. Wumi, what's your position? Is HR really your friend? You are friends. You know how you treat your
right. I mean, I understand where Ijeoma. I understand her perspective. Maybe the definition of friendship is what she's not aligning with,
or what we are not aligning with, because we all probably define it in a different way. It seems we are clear with what our responsibility is to minimize risk, right?
Right. But I am here to support both the employees and the employers. So when
if HR is your friend, would you terminate your friend? Wouldn't you give them a second chance? Would you terminate your friend? You give them a second chance. You train them, you help them, you advise them, you guide them.
You know what I did? I was actually helping my friend to find a better fit for
somewhere else, another
somewhere else.
family. The one
Yes,
thing I don't like is we are your
I am
family.
managing
Go
my
ahead.
friend out of the organization so that my friend can find a better fit somewhere else. I mean, staying in the organization can cost them more harm than good. So I am actually redirecting them on, I think this place is not right for you. Why not go look for something else?
Perspective.
Yeah.
Perspective. The plus perspective is that which madam fired me. Right? Somebody has told me before, you fired me, and I was like, seriously, I'm not even your manager. I'm an HR manager. I'm not responsible for firing somebody.
Do you know
Right?
that what you just said now? I was in the shopping mall, last year, and somebody, just said, "You fired my friend."
Oh.
Well, I mean, I wasn't the one that fired your friend, but immediately I did. You had to shut down that conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you want to have
Yeah.
outside in a mall or something. But of course, HR is that person where, okay, so what I do, I have what I do that has been helping me. I'll call it my go-to principles about how I want people to be comfortable with me. I don't want to be that HR person that people see me walking in the premises or in the building and they feel like, HR is coming, HR is coming. Yeah, arrange, HR is here. No, I don't want to be that HR. That is not who I am. So, I mean, I want to be people's friend, quote and unquote, support them, make sure they're doing the right thing, redirect them, coach them, give them all the tools that would improve them. And if they are not improving, we show them the way out of the organization.
Nobody does that to friendship, but don't worry. Let me not. Let me not be that. Let me. But
Let's move on. I think we all agree. But it's the friendship part that we're like, okay, what do we do? Which friend?
Yeah. Let's move on. I don't think it will ever come to that point where I've worked in different organizations. I've been to different locations, either black, green, white, or brown. Once they see you as HR, everybody, no matter even how highly placed they are, they set themselves. I've been in party, right here in Canada, where even leaders and all, when they see you walk by, they reset themselves because again, we are police. Either we like it or yes. There are certain things we can't just overlook because even though in a different setting, people have been punished for what they did in a party, in a workplace party, not in a workplace. So HR has a different cut to it, but I get what we're saying. I guess the balance is the key, understanding our core duty and the human element to foster that healthy workplace, healthy relationship. So let's talk about ourselves in the next 15 minutes. HR's job, either we like it or it is heavy. We're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with lives. And I find out sometimes that you have to make some decisions and I'm wondering, wow, because it's not just about one production or decisions that can affect an individual's journey, their career. It can affect, we make decisions about people's promotion. We make decisions about discipline. We make decisions about even them losing their job or restructure, whatever that is. Who do we go to as HR professionals when we're in that situation of dilemma? When we're burnt out of the kind of decisions we make as HR professionals, who do we go to for recourse? How do we manage ourselves to ensure that we don't get overwhelmed by all of this, yet we still stay professional?
Right.
To start with, I know. Let me let Ijeoma and Wumi get some breathing space. Let me try it to put.
Go ahead, Chief.
I think my sources are just three main sources that has been very helpful for me.
Yeah.
One are my colleagues. Problem shares have solved. I talk things over and I'm just good to go. I discover my colleagues and they will be able to share with me what they've done, how they've handled it, and I can go that route if it works for me. That is one. Number two is also my manager, okay? Because most times when HR professionals are being burnt out, the manager tend to know at what point they need to come in to talk to you or if you go to them as well. Then my number three will be my mentor. Irrespective of how long you've stayed on the job or in HR, what I will advise people to to have is to have professional mentors. Those are your going in between. Just like we said, there are lots of confidentiality details with us, HR. Yeah. So whatever you're discussing with your mentor will be your own personal experiences, not what you're being told or not what somebody confided in you in your organization. So those are my three go-to when I felt I'm being burnt out or when I think I need a breather or somebody to speak to.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Otuba. Let's go with you, Wumi.
Okay.
How do you navigate this part?
Oh, how burnt out. So I'll say first, and first, what I'll do first and foremost is I'll definitely want to set that boundary. And I am very guilty of this. Like, I am like a go-to, like anything happening, just call me. But recently, I've learned that it's good to say no. Like, it's good to say no and set boundaries and push back. Like, kind of. You cannot come and kill me.
So set physical or mental boundaries, or both?
I said both. Physical,
both.
mental. Like, I mean, I operate open office, but when I'm in this element, I close my door. Like, just like I shut my door. I need a moment because if I'm not in that right frame emotionally and mentally, how am I supposed to give you the right advice or right direction or recommendation if you can't draw out of empty cup? I have to take care of myself. So I set the boundary, I need me moments. And one thing that when I set that boundary, and this is something I'm really learning, like sometimes when I get home. So for the very first time, I went on like a personal trip, I went on vacation recently, and I left my official phone in Canada. Like,
for the
that was
time,
my very first time.
We know people like you. For the first time, you're leaving it.
And I felt really good. I felt proud. I felt proud of myself. Like, I said, thumbs up, good job. Like, the day I was leaving, I was like, no, leave this phone. You have to leave this phone. Like, it was a struggle. And when I got on, like, I felt really good. I enjoyed myself. I was able to recharge because I wasn't with my phone. And I think most of us, we need to just set that boundary and know where to draw the line and say no. I mean, push back. One other thing that I would also advise would be like self-care. Like, we cannot like overemphasize what self-care can do. Like, go on that massage, go and do your massage, because most of us, we have this medical insurance thing that covers. You want to do S&P, like you want to go, scaling and polishing, you want to go for the massage, but we won't take it. We would recommend EFAP, that's the Employee Assistance Program, to all the employees, but we ourselves won't make advantage or make do of these programs. So for me, set boundaries, do self-care if you can, and also have partners, like colleagues, accountability people, partners that can check in and see how you're doing, like someone you can chit chat and talk to. Yes, I think that has really helped me so far.
Fantastic. IJ, you want to chime into that? We have 2 more questions. Want to chime into that quickly?
I just have one thing to add. Everyone has spoken well. I think the only other thing I would add is feel free to be kind to yourself. When you need help, a break, accommodation, because sometimes we're processing accommodation, we're helping other employees, but like Wumi said, we don't take it for ourselves. So feel free to say, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit, I need this, can I get that? Ask for the resource you need, ask for permission to step away. Flexible work arrangements now with the new demographics in the workspace, people are so vocal about their needs. And as HR professionals, that's something that we don't really do, because
can we afford to do that?
We have to be able to afford to do that.
We can do it in our Oga's office. Not like other people.
We can. We can, Imole. I think there's an awareness, there's a growing awareness that even HR people are employees as well, and they need some of this. I think it's how we articulate the need that will give us those things, and in how we execute the job. So recently, I'll give you an example. For me, I haven't ever felt like I could travel without my official phone and laptop.
You
know?
I have a
So
partner in
anyway,
crime.
you know, yeah. So, but I think what I've done now to get me to that point is I've started to implement things that are working without me. So like outsourcing things that I can outsource, putting in strategies where instead of coming to me directly, fill out your all your needs on this, you know, tool, this system. So then almost like I have a help desk system now.
Yeah. Okay.
So you put it on the help desk system and I get to it when I can. And when I'm away, I'm away. So even though I didn't drop my laptop, my recent vacation on my phone, but for the first time, I took a vacation that I didn't turn it on. I was with you though, but I didn't turn it on. Little progress like that, you know?
Little progress. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Awesome. You guys have made some very fantastic points. We need to self-care, and that's awesome. Let's quickly talk about professional associations or professional bodies. Do they really help HR professionals? Okay.
I'm not
taking
your money. Yes, they do.
So HR association, they provide support to HR.
They do. After paying your membership fee and your designation fee, I think they are very helpful. There are opportunities for you to, like Otumba said, find a professional mentor that can walk you through what it looks like in the future, how you can navigate where you are today. There are opportunities for you to get resources that can help you to level up in your job or even to network to get better job and better opportunities. So I do think they're helpful. They help with training, continuous professional development that can increase your skill, your knowledge, and propel you to somewhere else. So I do think they're very helpful.
Yes,
I
want to ask. I'm sorry when you're done.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I think I want to, just add to everything that Ijeoma, she's rightly covered everything, but I think what I've seen recently is networking.
Yeah.
I mean, when you attend their conferences, their seminars, their webinars, you network. And I think everyone on this call would agree that networking is the new currency. That is it. Like once you are able to network, you have the right currency you can trade with. So even if you're not doing anything else, try as much as possible to go for these seminars, the conferences, the webinars. You would see someone, you would network, and you don't know when that individual will be useful, will be both mutually beneficiary to like you and yourself.
I like that balance, the mutual part, part. So I think today's conversation is very helpful, and I trust that while the people joined online or people who watch this again will see, how we can navigate some of the challenges we face as HR professionals. So just one last word from everybody. If you were to go back in time to the point you made a decision to do HR, would you do HR again? Would you go through the same path as HR? If no, what would you change? So I guess the question is HR worth it? Is it a path you advise the younger you to go for and the one coming after you to go for? Let's start with IJ.
Otuba has been 30 years, so I think he should be the one. Otuba, how have you been managing 30 years?
I know for a fact that Otuba is making money from other places too. I know that for a fact. So I know the man that...
This is what I tell people.
Yeah.
When I was starting to cut my teeth in HR, okay, the resources we have now, if you have it then, we could have it way, way better than I am today. Okay?
Yeah.
So basically, I have no regret coming into HR. Okay? Yeah. And I will say 100% to assure the people, even my daughter, to go into HR. The more you go into HR, the more you have that tough skin, and the more you will tend to enjoy it. Okay, so HR is a profession that is bringing joy. It all depends on the way you look at it. I love to say, "Oh, me, congratulations! This is your offer letter."
Yeah,
I love to see all those joys.
Termination. Congratulations!
Termination, which you could have done at your fault. Okay? Or this is your promotion letter. So for me, 100%. I have no regret coming to HR, and if I come back again to this world, I will definitely come back to the HR profession.
I love that. Thank you. IJ.
100%. I agree with everything Otumba said. I think for me, HR was one of the best decisions. I actually started out outside of HR. So I started out as a strategy consultant. And then I saw HR. I did a lot of HR projects and I then moved into HR. But I think what HR has done is HR really rounds you out. You know, you get to understand different points of view as an employee, as an employer, the legal aspects. It makes you a coach, a counselor. It makes you mother to some people. It makes you police sometimes, and it makes you advocate sometimes. You know, when you advocate for the employee. So it really, I think HR rounds you out, and it's a great career choice for anyone. Anyone who is getting into HR. One thing I will say, it's something that Otumba said, and I want to reiterate that is, get yourself a professional mentor. Find someone who's in the space, who's done it for a while, and let them help you navigate the growth. You know, understand what's critical, understand what interests you, where your skills are, where your strengths are, where you want to grow, and then just, you know, fly. I think HR is a great place to work.
Amazing. I love that statement. HR rounds you out. You will round, I mean, you would, all those rough edges will smoothen out if you have to excel in HR. You understand people's psychology, politics, understand, you know, you must be smart and intelligent to navigate various nuances. And I totally agree with you. Wumi?
Okay, I'll say HR is not for everybody. I want to start with that.
That's a fact.
It's just a fact. Like, I mean, it's not for everyone. So you need to really identify what is your drive. Are you passionate about people, or are you going in there to make money? So if you're not passionate, if you don't know what you're going into, then maybe HR is not for you. You will go through thick and thin, like you will go through roller coaster of emotions. So it's not for anyone that will just say, I can't manage my emotion. This is who I am. Is it that you take me like this, or you don't know? HR is for people. So HR is not for everyone. And to your question, Imole, I agree with what Ijeoma and Otumba said. I mean, I love HR. Like, HR is me. I am HR. I do not think I'll thrive in any other profession, maybe legal, maybe law, but of course, HR is my passion. And yes to HR 1000% over and over again.
Amazing. So you see, we brought in the right set of people who know their onions and their cabbage and their pawpaw, you know. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. HR will round you out. HR is not for everybody. Get a mentor, get an instructor, get somebody to help you walk that path. And I will forever and ever choose HR. HR has made me better, you know, and HR is really the heart of, you know, and I like how you said it. It makes you a police. You can be an activist. You can be a mother, a uncle, a father, you know, and an objective person. So you have to look at things from an objective way. And this is what I say. At the end of the day, what we do in HR is to put in framework systems, structures in place so that the business will win in the marketplace. And we win through people, right? And it's once we understand that, and that goes to what Wumi says, you must have a heart for people. Once you understand that, and you understand all the ESAs, the policies, all the technical parts, there's no way you will not win. There's no way you will not win. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
And be willing to be a friend.
And
Let's have that.
My personal opinion, I am people's friend as me, Mole. When I wear my HR hat, I realize that I can wear friendship.
100%.
That's just my opinion. Me as an individual, I'm a friendly person. You meet me, you engage with me. But as it goes by, I find out that if you want to, my true friend, we can shout at each other. Right. You know, we can hug, I can't do that with you in the workplace, right? You know, so I understand that thin line of friendship, and that's really your heart. You know, you want to be warm, you want to be, but either we like it or yes, we are weighing a heart for balance and objectivity. Right. We're managing risk, right? People come to me sometimes and say, can I say something? Please don't tell anybody. It's a lie. If push comes to shove, they say they told
Yeah,
HR.
Of course.
yeah.
No, say they told HR. So our job is a tricky one. But again, I want to thank you guys so much.
Thank
You
you,
guys have been amazing. And if you are looking for a mentor, an instructor, any of these guys are wonderful, solid people I can recommend at any time, any day. And my name remains Imole Ayo, actually. And, it's good to have you. Thank you very much, Adekunle, or Tuba himself. Thank you,
Thank you.
IJ.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing
Thank you
from
for
your
having
wisdom.
us.
Thank you for Wumi for sharing from your wisdom. This is really luminous platform to have these conversations. So we'll meet again. And before I forget, we are starting our data analytics class. It's going to be handled by Shego, and it's starting on this Saturday. So if you're listening to this, you've not registered, opportunity to register. But we're here to reshape culture. We're here to make our own contribution in HR space, and we're glad to do that. Again, guys, thank you so much. Do
Thank
enjoy
you.
the rest of your day and the long Easter holiday, right? The
Right.
long weekend.
Okay,
Right.
guys.
All
Have a
right.
wonderful day.
Easter.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.